John, we've got Pistons playoff action on the horizon, and we've been ramping up and getting ready to talk more and more about this series with the Knicks. Tomorrow, we're going to do our full preview and who wins, how many games, X factors, all that stuff. But I've noticed a tone around this basketball team that predates even this season, but continues even though they're winning. I started looking around to see what other people are saying about this series. ESPN had 10 writers. All of them picked the Knicks.
Even though the Pistons beat them repeatedly during the regular season.
3 of 4 times, including both games at Madison Square Garden. But we understand playoffs are a different animal.
Yeah.
All of them picked the Knicks. I looked around at ballots to see, hey, is our guy J.B. Bickerstaff, does anybody think this guy should win Coach of the Year? No. Runner-up on ESPN and Yahoo. Well, what about Malik Beasley? Guy finished 1 3-pointer shy of the most in the NBA this season. Came off the bench. He's got to be 6th man of the year, right?
You would think.
Nobody has put out that they think he should win 6th man of the year. Kate Cunningham. He's on some All-NBA teams, but the same or lower than Jalen Brunson. And there's a healthy debate there, but nobody's putting Kate above Jalen Brunson. And it's across the board, right? This team does not get respect. Isaiah Thomas was on Restore the Floor with Stoney. And Isaiah spoke about this. This has gone on for years. You just got to zig when they zag because you're not going to get love in Detroit. But why? Why does this keep happening? Even though they're finally starting to win and they have a star and they're not doing it in a way that should deter you. You should be excited if you've watched this basketball team. Why doesn't the league embrace the Pistons more? And by the way, do you embrace this underdog role or do you resent it?
Well, so first, in terms of the underdog, I think you embrace it. You have to embrace it. You don't resent it. You use anything you can for motivation, and we hear that from athletes all the time. And so, yeah, you do absolutely embrace it. But in regards to, Detroit never getting any love, and I know Isaiah was a superstar, but I don't think he ever got credit as being a superstar. Has Detroit, we've had some great players, but I don't know that Detroit has ever, they've obviously, Michael Jordan played in Chicago, never had a Jordan, a LeBron, and this is not me taking a shot at any of the players, but they've always, when they've won, they've done it as a great team. And Isaiah's right, they've done it differently. And I think there's a lot of people in the NBA, I don't know if it even goes back as far as the bad boys and, how, they didn't like it because it wasn't
pretty.
And then the going to work Pistons.
They did it also ugly, gritty team defense.
And now, this is why I think people, if you don't like the NBA, I'm with you. I stand with you. I agree with you. But the Pistons play different. And
Which I think is a good thing.
That's what I'm saying, is if you don't like the NBA, I get that. I don't either. But I like the Pistons because they play 4 quarters. We don't see load management. Every once in a while, maybe there's a guy that gets rest, but you don't see that on a weekly or nightly basis, not managing the roster just to get to the playoffs where the NBA takes care of load management for you.
Yeah.
And they play defense, they are aggressive, confrontational at times.
That's a good word.
Again, it bucks the trend of what the NBA wants to have.
But the way the Pistons as an organization have been treated doesn't match up with what they've accomplished. There's only 5 teams in the NBA that have won more championships than the Detroit Pistons. Do you feel like that's the perception around the franchise? The only franchises that have won more NBA titles are the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors, Chicago Bulls, and San Antonio Spurs. I get it. Those are your royalty, right? Nobody else, though, has won more than the Pistons, and they don't get treated that way. 2 different eras of champions. They're on the way back up, and you think this would be celebrated more, and instead it's like, yeah, the Knicks are going to dispatch them in 4, 5, 6.
Well, but here's the other thing is, and this is, again, part of the NBA problem, is certain guys get a chance to walk around without having to dribble the basketball. certain guys, if you breathe on them, it's a foul.
Yeah.
They pick and choose who those guys are. And like it or not, that's part of why people have gone away from the NBA. It's part of why I've gone away from the NBA. We've talked about this throughout the course of the year. And JB, stood at the podium, pouted on the podium, talking about this, where Cade Cunningham doesn't get the calls. They don't get the same respect. Some of that is they're the new guy on the block. They have been bad for so long that I think a lot of people, whether it's the postseason awards, are saying, okay, this is great. Hey, Cade, you're going to be on an all-NBA team, but this is the first year.
So you might be second or third, where Brunson might be first or second.
Right, because he's done it before. All right, and it's we need to see if you can repeat this.
But Cade scores as many points, more rebounds, more assists. I get it. Brunson's a little more efficient, but I will defer to the head-to-heads.
I think a lot of it is just they've been here before. The Knicks, why are people picking the Knicks? Some of it's experience. I get that playoff experience, but they're going to disregard what happened in the regular season. Even when the Pistons weren't playing good, they could still beat the Knicks.
Exactly. But I'm looking at the list, and it's Bobby Marks, Knicks in 5, right? Mark Spears, Knicks in 6. I mean, some say Knicks in 7, so they're giving the Pistons the credit of competing in the series, but nobody is picking the Pistons to win this series.
Right, because they're saying they're the new guys on the block, and they haven't earned the right to have our respect.
And JB hasn't earned the right to be Coach of the Year. Malik Beasley hasn't earned the right to be Sixth Man of the Year, and Cade Cunningham's not in the MVP conversation, not in the first team conversation. And I wonder, as you guys are inundated with this like we are, you care about our teams, do you look at that and say, good, I'll embrace the underdog rule, Detroit versus everybody, or does part of you resent this? Like, no, we're doing this the right way. We're playing the game the right way. We're an enjoyable watch in a league that doesn't have many of them. Celebrate us. Appreciate us. Which camp are you in? 248-539-9797. And a bigger question is, why does this happen? And it may be because of what Isaiah said, because we've dared to go against the grain.
I'll rest on, I think a lot of the NBA right now is just saying, okay, prove it. Prove us wrong.
Sure.
And, hey, Cade Cunningham, prove that you can do it for more than a year, that you can stay healthy for more than a year, that you could be this star for more than a year. Prove it to the entire organization that you are more of a 43 or 40 win team and you are on the ascent versus the 14 win team that you were last year.